B Smokehouse back here with you, and today on this 4th of July we're making some freedom burgers. What would the 4th of July, aka Independence Day, be without the hamburger or the hot dog? Started to do both. I said, nah, we're gonna focus on making a delicious burger. Steps are pretty simple and we're gonna keep it that way. I don't like to overcomplicate things. Here we have a brisket flat. Alright, this is right at 3 pounds. Then I'm going to cut it with some pork fat. This is pork belly, skin off pieces. Right? So let's go ahead and get this cubed down to where my grinder will willingly accept this with no issues. Why do we cube it up? Well, it makes this meat easier to fit in the throat of the grinder. Throughout this whole process, this is a pretty good looking flat. Throughout this whole process, you want to make sure things are cold. This has been in my fridge the past 3 or 4 days, right? I could have frozen it. Didn't feel that was necessary. So here we're gonna cut some strips. Just let it set covered in my fridge in a bowl. Then the protein will have taken the shape of a bowl, of the bowl that I have it in, right? And that's what we're looking at for those fatty pieces. I don't mind there being some of this pork in my burger, simply because it's great flavor, and these pork belly pieces are coated in fat on top, in the middle, and on the bottom, right? I have fat on hand instead of going and buy some. You buying a product makes more sense to go ahead and use that entire product. Let me get my other items set up. I'll bring you guys back so we can go ahead and make this delicious burger. Alright, let's start making some patties. I've cut me out a few wax sheets. These are what I will use for the top and bottom to cover my burger so I don't get my burger press that dirty. Still going to wash it afterwards, of course. I think today we're going to go with half-pound burgers. Alright, this is the half-pound side and there's a quarter-pound side. If you guys have never seen this on my channel, this is a Weber hamburger press. Alright, so the way I like to start out, put the press here, the half-pound side, go down with a sheet of wax paper. Get a sizable ball. You can see why I did that fat the way I did it. This is still pretty cold. Might get a little bit more meat. Now because this has pork in it, I'm going to cook these to where they're all the way done. I'm not worried about it drying out because of the fat content. So we're going to go with the size of ball like that. Alright, then we're going to cover it with another sheet of wax paper. I don't always get this perfect, so bear with me. Let me go here. Then you press. This is a burger press. Now here I might have to change over to this side because the form factor doesn't always alright. What are you trying to get? So that fat looks marvelous. Give it a nice press. And then so now we have our patty. That's how we're looking. So these are taken out, leave them out. And then here shortly they will go, I might freeze them for a little bit and then put them back to my fridge because I'm kind of pressed for time. Should have probably started this yesterday, but I didn't. But these are still going to be delicious. Well, you'll find that if I go from right now and I try to put this on my, over some direct heat, direct charcoal, you find that your meat will fall apart. And because we have a ton of fat in this, you find that you'll have a lot of flare-ups, especially if you don't control your fire. That's kind of what we're trying to prevent. And I'll show you how we do that once we get over those live charcoals. Still going to be quite delicious. Really different than those patties that most of us are used to getting. That's in the freezer section. Nothing against them, but the flavor here is going to be packing. Notice I haven't put any seasoning on this. There's no need for it. You have the excellent flavor and texture coming from that brisket flat. So majority of my seasoning is going to be on the outside of this burger. Alright? Trying to keep this as simple as possible. Alright, take it out. I'm going to get the rest of these pressed out and I'll bring you guys back when I'm done. Stay tuned. Alright, here's how we're looking. Here are my hamburger pucks. So we're outside. It's fairly hot today. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm using for my seasoning. This is a Chupacabra, or Two Gringos Chupacabra Brisket Magic. We're going to season that backside first. Then these are going to go back into the fridge. They can stay nice and cold so that fat doesn't render out on me. Since we use pork fat, it's a more delicate fat, guys. It's a more delicate fat, and I don't need it to start rendering until I really want it to. That's what's going to keep these burgers juicy. We're going to get those pressed in. And now we're going to flip them over. I'm going to hurry. Meat's already getting pliable. This meat had a stiffness to it. The refrigerator I have in my garage is a bit colder than the one in my kitchen. So, get these tops seasoned. If you haven't tried this brisket magic, give it a try. It's really good. It's got everything that you're going to use on a brisket in it anyway. Alright, we're going to leave that like that. Give this a bit of time to soak in. This is going back in the fridge. Stay tuned. Alright, here we are. We got the burgers on. I went ahead and did some brats and some, I think these are andouille sausages. We're going to let these ride. You can see my charcoal. Let me back up for this. My camera overheats. See, my charcoal is assed over and white hot. That's what you want. We don't have any flare-ups. We're going to let these ride. Remember, I've got pork in these burgers, so I need to get them done all the way through. If these were just beef burgers, I don't mind a pink center. Stay tuned. I'll bring you guys back once I've given these a flip. All right, just gave them the first flip. With the majority of these, I like some of that crust we were able to get. Now, again, I'm repeating, we got pork in these burgers and pork fat. I need to make sure they're done through. So I say we got probably another 10-15 minutes on these, and I'll probably give them another flip so they don't burn on the one side. Stay tuned. All right, so we've got a buttered and toasted bun. I'm going down on mine with some mayo. We're going to keep it real simple. And then so we can establish our base. Actually, for my base, I've got this fire roasted jalapeno that I did when I had my fire going. That's going down first. Probably going to bring a little heat, but this is a 4th of July burger. We're going down with some tomato. Let me get some salt. Always season your tomatoes, folks. Alright. Then we're going down with some white onion. Alright, next we're going to go down with some shredded lettuce. We're gonna go down with this beautiful piece of meat. It's still moist, highly moist. Alright, and now we're gonna cap her off. So again, really a simple burger. It is the 4th of July. Let me take a picture or two for my thumbnail, and I'll bring you guys right back. Alright, so let's give this burger a taste. Looking pretty good. The stability's there simply by the way I stack things. I did not make my own buns this time. However, we did get pretty creative with the meat. Again, it's a beef brisket flat and a pork belly mixture. Pork belly really for the fat to keep that flat from the brisket really juicy. Let's get in and give it a bite. It's a good burger. Not overly smoky. Cooking it directly over the charcoal gave it a charbroil flavor. The jalapeno has a punch to it. I left some of the seeds on there intentionally. Hey, for me, this is a complete burger. The only thing I would have added, I just totally forgot, would have been some bacon. Get bacon in this, and it's a party. However, I think we got enough pork in this burger. Hey guys, if you haven't done so, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Look forward to your input, to your comments. Be Smokehouse out.